The seam of his sack. So I'm reading this and the whole time I'm thinking like, okay, he probably has like a human head, right? He probably like looks something like this, like, you know, just a dude with like horns. Then I see the official artwork. That's a cow. Bro is a cow. Bro is a straight up cow.
She's like, I don't want kids. I want to have a career. I want to be a strong girl boss. But oh, he's so hot and handsome. I wonder what our kids would look like. No, I can't have kids. I have to be a strong girl boss. But my ovaries are screaming at me for kids. Yeah. It's just feminist cope for wanting masculine men. That's it. I've said so many fucking streams. The best way to fix a feminist is just a fucker. Yes, I will do my first and only Shoe0nHead react video now. Because thanks to that fucking awful Swede Arch, I had to read the goddamn milking farm on Saturday. And so I figured, you know what? I want to see what Shoe says on this, because I can actually add commentary on it since I fucking read the book myself. I personally don't like reacting to Shoe. I love Shoe. I've been a fan of her since the very beginning. Since she was dating Armor Skeptic back in the fucking day. Like, in the very beginning, basically. I've been well, that's like 10 years ago now. So I'm a long-time fan of her. But I dislike reacting to her because I feel like that is typical VTuber slop. No offense to the VTubers that react to her. No offense to them. But I feel like it's like top tier VTuber react slop. And so I was like, I'm never gonna react to a Shoe0n video. Well, I guess never say never, because now I have my excuse to do top tier VTuber react slop thanks to this goddamn fucking book that I got right here. Can you hear that? That's the wind that this paperback is making. Because I got the book in fucking paperback like she does. It's literally in my fucking hands right now. And all its morning glory. Yeah, I bought the physical book because I wanted to actually note down and read things. Where is that Swede at? Where is that Swede? Anyway, this is what I had to go through on Saturday. Well, look at that fucking thumbnail. Look at that goddamn thumbnail. How awful it is. It's great fucking art. I hate the context though. Check out the stream, by the way. It's actually hilarious. But still, I hate this Swede. I hate this fucking Swede. So is Amal a fox girl and a vampire? Nope, I am an amalgamation. 1/3 dragon, 1/3 wolf, and 1/3 human. And there are lore reasons for that, but I'm not going to get into them right now. I'm an amalgamation. I know the big ears and the tail, the fluffy tail implies fox. I just like big ears and fluffy tail. But it's wolf, I swear. Oh, Amalgamyte, amalgamation. Yep. Amalgamyte's a play in the word amalgamation. I just get called Amal, or Amal. Inside me there are two wolves. One is a dragon. One is unfortunately a woman. Unfortunately, yes. But enough about me. Let's get into the Shoe0nHead sloppa. I do kind of feel bad calling her sloppa because like I said before, I went pee. I am a big fan of hers. She is the one and only woman that's actually funny out there, because women aren't funny, but she is one of them.
Oh, I didn't see you there. What am I reading, you ask? Well, just one of the best-selling books on Amazon right now. With millions of sales and almost 20,000 5-star reviews, this book has been absolutely blowing up, especially on TikTok, or BookTok as the kids call it. Thousands and thousands of women in particular have been raving about this piece of literature. What piece of literature is it, you may ask? Well, Morning Glory Milking Farm, of course. A popular romance novel about a young woman down on her luck who does what every young woman does when facing financial struggle. She starts an OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. She wouldn't degrade herself like that. She gets a job jerking off monsters.
That's right. Good morning.
I'm sure Shoe will probably get through this in the video, but as someone who has verifiably read this fantastic piece of literary work that has a typo on page 2, I kid you not, there are scenes in this book where the character actually has to justify that it's not sex work, and it's just pharmaceutical work, to be more exact, because it's not sex work because only humans are the ones that are prudes, because this is just a biological function instead. And the justification for this and why it's pharmaceutical work is because humans are so weak and awful that they need Minotaur come to make Viagra to make them better at sex. That's why it's pharmaceutical work. But it's totally not sex work, bro. Pharmaceutical? Yes. Because the place is even described as like having barnyard and fake grass and cow print and everything like that. The play on the fact that it's, you know, the Minotaurs are cows and everything. Once again, I guess I know we're gonna watch the shoe vid and she's probably gonna explain this. But this woman has a tons of credit card debt because she went into a terrible degree that her mother even tried to convince her to not go into. It was some sort of like architectural history degree that she was going into, and she couldn't find a job, and she actually had to even get her master's to even try to find a job, and she still couldn't fucking find a job. Now she's in debt and she can't get a job. She can't pay her bills, and she can't work a minimum wage job because it still doesn't pay her bills. And she is crying and lamenting that she's got to move back home and live in her parents' attic. So therefore, she does the totally not sex work.
Glory Milking Farm.
I have been reading Morning Glory Milking Farm since last night, and I'm obsessed.
This was a good time. It did not disappoint.
If this book is trash, then I am a fucking raccoon. Give me all of the garbage.
Get your eye.
I did not go on Book Talk to find reviews for this book because I don't really give a shit about what women think. There's a typo on page 2. There's actually multiple typos throughout this. The words on the page are massive. Like, this is a 280 some page book. Plus, if you get the physical copy, you get a little, actually no, 228 to be exact. Plus, at the end, you do get a little bit of a snippet for the next book you can read from the Minotaur's perspective, if you wish to read that. There's 17 chapters, like I said, plus the little snippet. When I read this book, it took me 3 hours to get to chapter 16. 3 hours to get through 16 chapters, quote unquote. Because this book is so small and such an easy fucking read. It doesn't take you any time to read it. This is not peak fiction. This is absolute fucking trash. That woman is a raccoon. If you want peak fiction, go read The Count of Monte Cristo. Go read The Picture of Dorian Gray. Go read And Then There Were None. Like, there are much better classical fiction books out there that are much superior. Hell, if you want something more modern, go read Aragon. For fuck's sakes. Go read. God, I'm looking over my bookshelf now. A lot of my books are actually from when I was still a kid that I just kept for sentimental purposes. But fuck, even though Hunger Games is written better than this shit, like, there are, like, so many books out there that are so much better than this. Fuck, even fanfiction writers are better writing than this shit. And I don't even read fanfiction. This is awful. Women should not have learned to read.
Balls on this because it is so good.
I regret to inform you that there is a new epidemic. An epidemic that many have yet to discuss. And that epidemic is female gooners.
I'm reading what I read.
Now, for those of you unaware, gooner is internet slang for someone addicted to porn. And smut is slang for dark romance novels, otherwise known as porn. Many correct about the dangers of porn addiction with men, how it can destroy their lives and their relationships, and most men know the material they consume is weird. That is why they are ashamed of it. That is why they delete their browser history. That is why they go incognito mode. But these bitches freaks out here. They display their smut openly in bookstores. They proudly pose in front of their smut collections. They discuss their smut openly on TikTok. They go to smut conventions and get choked out by 9-foot-tall shirtless wendigos. Now, I know what you are thinking. Shoe, isn't this the pot calling the kettle degenerate? Yes. Yes, it is. But have you considered it takes one to truly know one? You see, women are strange, fascinating creatures.
That is true. That is completely true. As anyone who has been to too many of my streams, I am pretty open about my own degeneracy. But I don't read these books. I don't read fanfiction, I swear, okay? I just, when I get horny, I just go to rape hentai, and I just look at that, and then I'm done. Or tentai. And then I'm done. And that's it! That's it! Simple! Simple! Basic, bitch! 80% of women have a rape fetish. It's not that big of a deal. I don't read smut books like this! Puppy Girl Shoe? Yes. Yes. For those who don't know, back in the day when she was dating Armor Skeptic, and I do kind of feel bad. I do kind of feel bad talking about it because now she was married with a kid. But back in the day when she was starting out, she was dating another YouTuber named Armor Skeptic, and they had a channel where they did movie reviews together, and they would talk about their BDSM puppy play sex life and as jokes throughout the whole movie review. And I liked it because I liked both of them. I was a big fan of both. So that's why I watched the movie reviews. Though I have to say, you know, God, how old was I at the time? Like 14? Somewhere between like the ages like 14 and like 18, I guess. I was a bit uh weirded out when they would make those kind of jokes, because I was just like, I don't really want to know about your weird BDSM daddy-daughter sex life, because they unironically did daddy-daughter stuff. I love you, Shoe, and I used to love Armor Skeptic. But, yeah.
Centuries men have tried to figure us out. Our mood is affected by the tides and the moon. We bleed for 5 days and don't die. By painting my face, I can instantly shapeshift from a 4 to a 6. We are truly mysterious, magical creatures. But one of the most mysterious aspects of women to men is our sexuality. You see, us women are not like those disgusting moids. No, we are sophisticated. We are evolved. We don't watch videos of strangers slapping their sweaty bodies together. No, we read about strangers slapping their sweaty bodies together. It's different, okay? You don't understand. It's okay when we do it. So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the rapidly growing popularity of dark romance on TikTok and the recent dark romance convention that ended in disaster. Let's take a break from all this depressing political news and talk about something silly. Not that those political things aren't important, trust me, they are. You should be keeping up with politics and the news when you can. I know it can be difficult to do, but fear not. I have an app for that. So before we get into this video, let's quickly give a shout out to—
Okay, sorry, Shoe. I skipped ad reads. I know she can make them funny, but we're skipping the ad read for ground news. So while we're doing so, I can make the argument that technically this is political in a way, because I said this on the Artscast when we were discussing this book, but the milking farm is about this woman who's, like I said, in a massive amount of debt, who got a shitty degree, and who doesn't want to move back home to live with her parents anymore. And she constantly talks about how, how am I being an actual feminist? Oh, I'm such a horrible feminist, blah, 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 blah. They're basically hit the wall. And she showed a lot of these TikToks about these women who actually enjoyed it. They look like they're in their 30s. These are women who've been plowed through since they were teenagers into their 20s and couldn't settle down, who have unrealistic standards for a boyfriend, but they desperate, and they're horrible feminists. You know, they want to get the degree, they want to be that girl boss, you know, they want to make as much, if not more, than the man, but at the same time, they also want a man that makes more and takes care of them, who is actually masculine and alpha. Like, there's that meme with the whole, like, where the viral tweet went around where some woman said that she wants a leftist man with a MAGA body, because they admit to themselves that leftist men are either fat as fuck or twinks, versus the MAGA men usually work out and take care of themselves, but you know, whatever. They want that masculine man to take care of them deep down inside. As they are hitting the wall, their ad cartons are being empty. This is actually politics. This is actually important, because we have a whole generation of women, millennial women specifically, that are hitting the wall, aren't having kids. 99% of them are white, and, well, the white people are being replaced in real time, both demographically and thanks to birth rates as well. And this leads into the birth rate issue, that these women aren't having kids, they haven't settled down, and yet they desperately want that big masculine man to take care of them, but their own feminist indoctrination won't allow that to happen. It's awful. This is an actual tragedy, where we have a whole entire generation of women just completely one-shotted by feminism, and it's part of the downfall of society. And now they're reading these smut books, these smut books that I have right here in front of me, to try to make up for the reality that they lack. Anyway, we'll go back to Shoe. She's funnier than I am.
Or use the QR code here on screen, or use the link in the video description. So thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Right? So let's get back to the video. Book Talk is a very interesting place, and any book fans out there know how it has absolutely destroyed the hobby of literature and just flooded it with absolute slop. Spicy slop. You see, books on TikTok are not rated by how well they are written or how good the characters are. No, they are rated by the spice. And what does spice mean? Porn. It means porn. Spice level is very important to book talkers. How much spice does a book have? What are the spiciest books they have ever read? How spicy is the book they're currently reading? Spice, spice, spice. And the spiciest book going viral on Book Talk lately is none other than Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.
Which isn't that bad, by the way. I mean, every page has a description of cock on it, but after you read 10 pages, you get desensitized to it. You don't actually get a real sex scene until actually closer to the end. And it's not that bad. It's actually not that bad. It's stupid, but it's not that bad.
E.M. Nascosta. Violet is a typical down-on-her-luck millennial, mid-20s, overeducated, and drowning in debt. Oh my god! She's just like me! On the verge of moving into her parents' basement, when a lifeline appears in the form of a very unconventional job in the neighboring Cambric Creek, she has no choice but to grab it with both hands. Morning Glory Farm offers full-time hours, full benefits, and generous pay with no experience needed. There's only one catch. The clientele is grade A certified prime beef. With the manly, meaty endowments to... Okay.
Morning Glory Milking Farm is actually a profound critique of late-stage capitalism and toxic masculinity. In this text, we see that the tingling sensation in her coochie is actually the tingling sensation of a Marxist revolution.
Chat, as a woman who officially read that god-awful book, I can guarantee you that is nowhere near the meaning of the book. Hell, the anti-feminist slant that it does have, kind of like the Barbie movie, is still not even that, like, it's not even done on purpose. It's the author's own stupidity as they trip over themselves. This is purely a smut book, and that's it. It's not legacy capitalism. It's not. It's just, I'm a quirky chungus woman who's in lots of college debt because I was brainwashed by feminism. It's not that deep. It's not that deep.
This is every fucking BreadTube video to me, dude. This is every Jack Saint video. So I actually read the book myself, and I'm not gonna lie. The 19th Amendment needs to be abolished. So, like I said, the story is basically this millennial named Violet, and she gets a job basically working at Big Pharma in Narnia, where they harvest Minotaur milk to make Viagra for human males. And I read the whole thing. Probably gonna be put on some kind of watch list. But listen, this is my job, okay? I'm not out here, like, selling feet pics or something. What I do is far more dignified and normal. Now, let's take a look at some of these notes I wrote. Let's see. Big dick and balls. At one point, she says the term, and I quote, the seam of his sack. So I'm reading this, and the whole time I'm thinking, like, okay, he probably has, like, a human head, right? He probably, like, looks something like this, like, you know, just a dude with, like, horns. Then I see the official artwork. That's a cow. Bro is a cow. Bro is a straight-up cow. In a few parts, they're being intimate, and it will be like, his hooves clip-clopped. My hooves will tear up your sheets. And it's like... I'm sorry, his what? At one point, she describes kissing him, and I swear to God it was more disgusting than anything else described in this book. She's like describing how big and wide his mouth is and how big and like slimy his tongue is. She's like describing this shit, and you're just like, that's a cow. I mean, we are at a solid 5.5 on the Barbeau scale here. This is dangerous territory, folks. She also f***ers his ass. She the cow's ass. By the way, if you want an uncensored version...
Yes, she absolutely fucking does. Like, that was one of the few scenes in the book that made me go, what the fuck? Because, okay, so the wide mouth and the cow tongue and the snuffling that he makes because it's literally just a fucking cow. It is weird, but it's kind of whatever. But when there's a scene later in the book as they're not living together, but she's over at his place all the time, where she wants to wake him up to go shopping for flowers and plants to spruce up his place, and he refuses to get up. And so she starts sucking his cock, but she can't really do that because it's too big. So she grabs some lube and, well, fingers his asshole. And, yeah, that came out of nowhere. Nowhere else in the book, and this is later in the book, where she talks about that stuff. And I don't know about you fellas, things, I don't fucking know, man. But, that's gay, okay? Pegging, gay. Fingering a man's asshole, gay. It's just gay, okay? If you enjoy that, you're gay. Simple as that. Women, that's a very demasculating role, in my opinion. Women should not be anywhere near a man's asshole. Okay? It's gay. Like, it's just gross. That actually made me like go, what the actual fuck is happening in this book when I read that scene. And he comes a lot, by the way. 24 fluid ounces of pure Minotaur milk. I'm not making it up, by the way. I'm not making it up. The Arch fan art was better. Yes. Yeah. I probably shouldn't say this, but yes. The art that Arch got for this book is a lot better than the depictions of the actual Minotaur themselves. That scene only, I mean, kinda, yeah. Because, like I said, this book is pretty, I mean, I personally kind of consider this tame. Because there's no BDSM, there's no rape, there's no gore, or anything like that. It's simply just this woman is doing sex work. The guy falls in love with her tiny little hands, how it feels on his master monster cock. And then they start dating. And she refuses to admit the fact that she likes being taken care of him because she's a feminist. And that's it. Like, that's it. It's nothing special. There's no, like I said, no BDSM, no rape, no tentai, no gore, no mind breaking, no nuggets, you know, like, no, God, what other fetishes are out there? I like, it's just simply the man falls in love with a prostitute, and the prostitute realizes that the man can take care of her. It's just B stuff, yeah. Like, it's B stuff, but that's actually not that uncommon, super, really, because most women have some sort of, like, fantasy like that, because the whole point of the Beast is about masculinity. I know there's a whole clip that Shoe played earlier about how it was critique on late stage capitalism and toxic masculinity, but, like, the whole reason of why women are attracted to the Beast is because of the masculinity, because there is so monstrous that they just completely dominate the woman because of their, in this case, for the Minotaur for the Minotaur part, his size, how big he is, not just his cock, but how big he is, like, personally as a creature, and his how strong he is, his muscles, all that stuff. That's all masculine traits that women love. It's just basically a feminist excuse to be attracted to men. Basically, their version of safe horny without saying that they're attracted to men. Are there kids at some point? Like, does she get pregnant? See, that's what's one of the funny parts about this book, too, is that there are a couple scenes in here where she sees kids and she's like, oh, no more than a decade at least. At least. You know, because she's like, I don't want kids, I want to have a career, I want to be a strong girl boss, but oh, he's so hot and handsome, I wonder what our kids would look like, you know, God, I see those cute kids, no, I can't have kids, I have to be a strong girl boss, I have to wait at least a decade, oh, but my ovaries are screaming at me for kids. A fucking decade, yes. She said, I had to find the page for it. Like, she just... Yeah. It's just feminist cope for wanting masculine men. That's it. Oh, and then lots of cock. There's lots of talk about cock, obviously. Because I'm a believer in the theory that men are the romantic sex. Women conflate lust and love. They don't know how to actually be romantic because every single part of this book has something to do with cock. I found one of the kids' scenes actually. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'll read it here. She had applied for her substitute teacher's license shortly after graduation, thinking it would be a good way to supplement her job in the urban planning office, but it paid a pittance, and she quickly remembered just why she pursued art history and not art education, as her mother had wanted. I am also really terrible with kids, so not the best fit. He made a strangled noise of revulsion, his face screwing up in disgust before stealing a forkful of her tiramisu. L'Oreal's warning had proved prescient, and her dessert choice was never safe from his darting hands. They need to pay a fortune to make the job worth it. Grubby little hands, never listening. I don't blame you. No kids for you then? They barely seen each other. They have seen each other barely a dozen times, and any conversation about anything more than a month or two in the future was comically wishful thinking on her part. So it made little sense for her stomach to flip flop and wait for his answer. Why are you even asking him? You don't even know if you want kids. There's just one of the scenes where she actually really wants his kids because her ovaries are screaming at her because she's in her mid to late 20s. But no, you don't even know if they want kids after all. Anyway, should we get back to Shoe?
Of this video and all my videos, Patreon. Go to Patreon, become a member. All members get the uncensored version of every video, so you can hear me talking about f***ing and f***ing a cow's asshole. Is that what you freaks want? Anyway, I like how in this fantasy world, student loans still exist. Like, we can imagine a world with minotaurs and humans in a relationship, but we can't imagine a world without student loans. Sad. Oh, and he has one of those bull rings, like the nose ring theory septum rings. And in this world, that means, like, you're married, but apparently he's divorced. The man is divorced. This is a divorced cow with a cow ex-wife. The lore is deep, folks. The funniest part, though, has to be when they go on a date. I need to just read this to you.
Oh, this is gold.
She attempted to pull a handful of carefully folded bills from her wristlet before he stopped her. No, that's absolutely not happening. Put that away. She'd not thought about it until the day after their first dinner together, realizing that in mortification that she ought to have attempted to pay her half. What kind of feminist are you? She asked herself. She couldn't remember the last time she'd been out and hadn't paid for her half, including her coffee date with Carson Tinsley. She had come prepared that night, several weeks of her tips smoothed and tucked into her wristlet. But I didn't even offer to pay half the other night and shouldn't have Violet. If the commanding rumble of his voice hadn't silenced her, the heat of his hand dropping to her knee would have. I don't want you to feel that you don't have any agency here. I might be the one giving all the orders, but you hold all the cards. Your comfort is the only thing that counts right now. And if I overstep, I want you to know you can tell me so. But that's not happening. Don't think I'm unaware we're at different points in our careers. You can say no, you can say you don't want to see me again, you can tell me to stop coming to the farm when you're working. It's dinner, not a down payment of your time. But I'm in a position to comfortably spoil someone. So when you're with me, I'm spoiling you. End of story. She was a good feminist, she told herself, and she definitely couldn't be bought. But if he had suggested at that moment that he would have appreciated a blowjob, she would have fallen face first on his cock with an open mouth without a shred of hesitation. Inside every woman.
You know what the great part is? You know what the fantastic part about this is? This is the one and only paragraph, or scene, I should say, that Arch read on the Archcast. I was crying. Because all the other different scenes that he had Lum Lum and I read, it was just me and her switching back and forth on which ones to read that he was just telling us to do. I probably shouldn't have said it like that. But no, that was the one and only scene that he read. Anyways, back to the book itself. She really wants to be a good girl feminist, but the cow cock is too much to resist. Exactly. That's why I've said so many fucking streams that the best way to fix a feminist is just a fucker. Just fuck her. Okay? You gotta do it right, obviously. You can't be bad, and hopefully you have some girth, because girth is the most important part, not length. And if you're not, then learn how to finger. I'm just saying. But the best way to fix a feminist is just to fuck her correctly. And this book proves it. Just dick her down like you're a minotaur. Exactly. It's not that hard. You just have to have a 12-foot cock that's I don't know, a foot wide, and you'll be fine. Sometimes I really feel like these kinds of books are self-insert fics but this guy's original romance slap. Oh, it 100% is. Like this woman, and Violet in the book, the character, she is written as be relatable as possible. Like, I'm making fun of the book, but there were multiple times while I was reading this, and not during the sex stuff, by the way, for the record, but there was multiple times during this book where I was like, damn, she's like me. Like, her inner thoughts, her insecurities, her quirky chungusness. I was like, oh, I'm relating to this woman, actually. I dislike this. Not the debt, the college debt, because college is a scam. Not the obsessed with Minotaur cock, because I'm not a sex worker. I'm an e-thought. I'm an e-thought. But I'm not a sex worker, thank you very much. No OnlyFans or Fansly here. Not even a throne. But there were certain things where she talks to herself and she's really nervous and awkward. I'm like, oh, that's me. Oh yeah, there's a scene where they meet at the coffee shop. Randomly, it wasn't planned as a date. And she overhears somebody talking to him about another woman. And this is before she finds out that he's divorced. And so she thinks he actually has a girlfriend. And so then she's little bit of a passive aggressive because I mean she's slighted because she's in love with this guy. Let's see. It took a moment for her brain to force her to breathe once more, pulling the brief flare of hope. So he's divorced. So what? She's a girlfriend then. Well, I'm sure getting removed could have been possibly more painful than having put in the first place, she forced out in that same high-pitched two-chipper voice. That doesn't change anything. By the way, what's getting removed is the nose ring, because that's their signifier that they're married. He just never got it removed because he was too lazy to do so, because he wasn't looking for people to find. But the whole, like, talking to herself and being insecure, I'm like, that's relatable. So this is definitely written to be a self-insert thing for women. So, yeah. She's just like me, for real, straight butts and no cap. Okay. This is gonna take for a fucking ever. Rest in peace, Winters, for trying to make this into a react slap video.
There are two wolves. Or two bulls. The strong, independent girl boss and the submissive, doting housewife. And in the presence of a masculine man, or a farm animal, she will fold like a lawn chair and instantly return to factory settings.
It's dinner, not a down payment for your time, but I'm in a position to comfortably spoil someone, so when you're with me, I'm spoiling you. End of story. I said, okay, I highlighted that paragraph for myself.
Clean up aisle 5. So that's what I thought of it. But what did other people think of it? What are the reviews on this book? This book has a 4.1 on Amazon with 21,000 ratings and a 3.6 on Goodreads with nearly 60,000 ratings. Let's just read some random ones here. Hear me out. Hear me out. A milking good time. Sweet and creamy. The spice is spicing. I was very leery of starting this because I thought it was just gonna be porn. The plot is pretty good.
It is just porn!
Please. This is like the new, I read Playboy for the articles, like, sure you do. This book could kill a Victorian child. 5 stars, I'll never look at a jug of milk the same. I think I'm lactose intolerant now. So that happened. Our eyes will never see the gates of heaven. 1 star, not a helpful guide. This book failed to teach me how to milk a cow and now my family has no food for the winter. 1 star, accidentally ordered while on pain medication after an operation. Gave this to my mom as a joke gift for Christmas. You what? Sigh. Why can't human males be more like this? Tall, rich, and handsome are no longer enough, boys. Now you have to be a 9-foot-tall creature from Greek mythology with a 13-inch dick. I never want to hear from another person about how they read 100 books in a year if this is the kind of slop they are consuming. Well, Ronald, man detected, this isn't for you. This is for women. So take your ass back to Barely Legal Babysitter 5 or whatever the f you watch that is so morally superior than this. Let him who is without sin cast the first stone, okay? God bless America. It's great to live in a country where I can casually enjoy cozy erotica about a young woman who milks her way to financial security and true love with a minotaur. This is what freedom looks like, and I intend to fully enjoy it before the Supreme Court takes this right away next. If this is what freedom looks like, I'm really rethinking my stance on freedom, not gonna lie. Maybe we should have less of it. All I know is if Donald Trump takes the monster porn...
Repeal the 19th, remove women's access to credit cards, chain them to the kitchen, don't let them go outside, don't let them have access to the internet, marry them off at 18. Problem solved.
We are going to make 2020 look like a picnic, okay? Bull cock matters. Oh my god. Edit that out. Editor. Edit that out. Women are gonna be picking up Animal Farm now, like, where's the horse cock? Some of you people owe a certain streamer an apology because this book has way too many 5 stars. Some of you are lying. So after buying this book, Amazon has given me a few interesting recommendations. Would you like to see them? I accidentally summoned a demon boyfriend. That time I got drunk and saved a demon. Gentling the beast. Cupcakes for my orc enemy, mane of my existence. The gargoyle and the spinster. The widow and the orcs. Hoarded by the dragon. There's something about dragons. Getting it on with gargoyles. Gotten by the gator. Mated to the mountain bear. Oh, so this is why they chose the bear. The billionaire orc. Moth manager. Wolves and whipped cream. The wolf in my tavern. Pounded by produce. Oh, what? Are these the books the Nazis burned?
My husband only reads finance and sci-fi.
Oh, Shoe, you're flying close to the sun there, aren't you? Actually, I'm actually kind of curious what my suggestions are. I bought this book weeks ago, so I hope that my Amazon suggestions have calmed down, because I only bought this book. But I'm also kind of scared. I'm actually kind of scared here. Let's see. I don't even know where you see for you, actually. Because, like, I only go on Amazon when I actually need something. Explore books. Top picks for you. Let's see. What are my top picks for books now? Asmonov, The Gods Themselves. Will Gibson, The Neuromancer. Dungeon Crawler Carl. What's Red Rising? I don't know. Oh, we got The Giving Tree. That's a good book. Brave New World. Election. Okay, here we go. Okay, there we go. I think I found a porn book finally. I've bought actual, like, legit books from Amazon. Kiss of the Basilisk. There we go. There's our first porn book here. Oh, A Lady of Rook's Grave Manor. That looks like something special. Like lots of Heinlein here. My Reminiscences of East Africa. I'm sure that's definitely porn. Atomic Habits. Lots of Asimov. Or Asimov. Asimov? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Crime and Punishment. So hey, I'm just gonna say, I think my other book buyings has managed to, oh god, My Vampire Plus One, The Gingerbread Bakery. The sweetest things are worth the wait. Oh my god, what the fuck's that? These are Kindle Daily Deals. Okay, so these are not suggestions for me. These are Kindle Daily Deals. And these all look like woman smut. Yeah, Born by Moonlight, The Dragon Queen. Okay, so we know Priest of Bones. So we know where these women are finding these books at the Kindle Daily Deals, apparently. Why do women like the billionaire boyfriend concept in romance like most billionaires can care less? Because they want a rich man to take care of them. They don't actually want a job. No matter how feminist they actually are, secretly deep down, they want a man to take care of them. They will kick and bite and refuse. And there might be a few women out there that genuinely believe that, though they usually regret it once they hit the wall in their 40s. But 99.9% of women want a man to take care of them. And when you're filthy fucking rich like a billionaire, well, that makes it a lot easier to take care of the woman. Whatever whimsical and useless needs that she wants for all her shopping and makeup and gacha addictions and smut books and dragon dildos and whatever else. All for reading smut. Please read the description for Pounded by Produce. You'll regret it. Okay, since you asked, I will unfortunately put this in my Amazon search things. Pounded by sounded by produce. Hold on, what? Why was that suggested? Pounded by produce. What is? Oh, Jesus Christ. Two priests magically transform into vegetables and engage in erotic encounters with a kitchen worker, challenging their vows in this spicy adult romance. So is it cuckolding or cheating? I mean, they're kind of one and the same. A book overview. A tale of veggies tempted to break their vows. Oh, okay. Okay. Fleeing a tumultuous past, Emily finds refuge at a kitchen job in a quiet countryside parish. Robert and Lauren are two best friends with a bond that has crossed lines throughout their history, but now walk the straight and narrow, giving their lives to their parish as priests. So they're gay. One magical night under the harvest moon, Robert and Lauren experience a bizarre transformation. They wake up as a tomato and a cucumber. Emily brings these ripe and juicy vegetables into the kitchen, but instead of preparing a meal, she uses them for other, more carnal needs. Emily awakens something inside of the priest, who switch back and forth between their human and vegetable forms. The three find themselves in a steamy entanglement, unable to deny their primal desires. Will they fight their urges or break their vows and alter the course of their lives forever? Oh, fuck. From the best-selling author of Get in My Swamp. This author make fucking Shrek fanfic? Wait, hold on. Hold the phone. Oh my fucking god. Get in My Swamp, an ogre left story. Chat, this is 3.7 stars, by the way. 3.7 stars out of 1,371 reviews. And it's book 1 of 3. Book 1 of... We're continuing with the shoe.
5 books, and so I think it's about time that I introduce him to some real literature. So the first book that I would like to introduce you to is called Morning Glory Milking Farm. And it's not a normal milking farm like with cows. What it is it's big, bulky minotaurs, and it's a special type of milking.
See, honey, she's his stepsister, and she got stuck in the washer machine again. Women on TikTok are openly, proudly talking about the porn they consume and getting mad at people when they make fun of it. I hereby ban men from reacting to romantasy on TikTok. Best-selling romantasy books like A Court of Thorns and Roses and Fourth Wing contain descriptions of hot sex. I feel like that's common knowledge, if not their primary purposes. But in recent months, book talk has become full of men clutching their pearls while reacting to steamy scenes from these popular female-centered books. Obviously, this is all a massive performance. We live in the age of OnlyFans. The odds are that these men have seen actual porn that defies the laws of physics and God. Over 90% of men between the ages 16 and 73 watch porn in any random month. There's statistically no way all of these guys are shocked by the sex itself. What they are gawking at is sex from the perspective of female desire, scenes that depict women coming first and frequently. And what they are surprised by is the women they know love these scenes. In one video, a guy declares, "Now I know why women enjoy book clubs and wine," but his astonishment in itself is astonishing. Like, what do you think adult women were into? Not having sex and drinking wine? Grow up. Imagine a group of men sitting around drinking wine, discussing the porn they watch. That is what you guys are essentially doing. It's just funny, okay? Like, it's funny. Are we really going to pretend that a story about a young woman getting a job milking mythical creatures to pay off her student debt is not funny? It's funny. If that makes me a sexist and misogynist, you got me. To act like you are so different and above the other Gooners is just, it's silly. I'm sorry, but you are no different than Joe Schmo jorking it to fat booty Latinas in Space 12. You're sitting there all high and mighty, one hand on the book, acting like you're so superior because you can perfectly envision a horse cock spinning 360 degrees in your mind. I'm not impressed. The scenes these men are reading, to many people, myself included, are insanely sexy. But purely in terms of the acts being described, they aren't all that lurid. And as many of the comments on these videos point out, there is much wilder stuff out there. For example, these men have clearly not yet discovered knotting, a popular term in romantasy right now that involves werewolves whose penises get so swollen after sex they have to stay inside their partners until the swelling subsides. Oh, Oh honey, that's not a popular trend in romantasy. That's just a thing real dogs do. Oh, you just don't get it. You don't know what knotting is. What are these women reading, bro? What happened to that like stupid fucking corny Hallmark thing, going home for Christmas to your hometown and falling in love with the cute farmer boy? What happened to that? We used to make fun of that. We truly did not know what we had until it was gone. Now women out here fantasizing about getting their asses clapped by demons and werewolves and goblins and ghouls. I remember when 50 Shades of Grey came out and people were like, oh my god, this is so crazy. Women are crazy. 50 Shades of Grey looks like missionary sex through a bedsheet for the sole purpose of procreation compared to the shit the average woman on TikTok is reading. At least Christian Grey was a human man and not a fucking dog. You fantasize about dating the quiet, shy, nerdy girl. You know, she's innocent, she's pure, she's not like those other girls, like, going out clubbing and hooking up with random men. No, she's at home, curled up by the fire in a blanket, reading a book, except that book is about f***ing a half-man, half-bull. Let me let you in on a little secret. The quiet, nerdy girl is way more of a freak than the average hoe. Are you kidding me? It's not even close. The average hoe might have a body count of like 15 or so, but the quiet, nerdy girl is fantasizing about getting back shots from Cthulhu. That is at least 100 bodies. Now listen, there's nothing...
Is this the time where I admit when I was a kid, I would fantasize about Lucifer coming out my closet and raping me? Did this ever stop? I mean, I guess kind of yeah, because I just think of regular men now, I guess. I mean, Lucifer is a fallen angel. He was still in humanoid form. You know, he might have had horns and some ratted wings, but like, it's still human when I was a kid. And now I just think of human males. So, you know, damn. I could have lived without knowing that. Well, too late now. You need cheese, my lady. You know what the thing is? The thing is, I went to a Catholic school, so that's why I was Lucifer, because I thought he was hot, because he's a bad boy. I did that during church, too.
Inherently wrong with fantasizing, okay? There's nothing wrong with roleplay. You know, fiction is fiction, right? You know, you're not actually going to bang your stepsister, right? These women are not actually going to bang a cow. Or at least I hope not. We all know there is a difference between fantasy and reality. Well, what happens when they try to bring fantasy into reality? Well, you get Sinners and Stardust. What in the eyes wide shut is going on here? Sinners and Stardust was supposed to be a dark romance ball for romantasy authors and fans alike. So what's the big deal? Seems like a fun, sexy time, right? Maybe, if you're a woman. If you're a man, the night may have gone a little differently for you. Alright y'all, it appears I have to make a post that I'm frankly pretty goddamn upset I have to make. This post is for the readers who don't understand consent and boundaries only. A lot of you may know my good friend Animus. He's attended a signing of mine in the past and obviously is a musical artist. This past weekend, he attended Sinners and Stardust and probably had one of the most heartbreaking experiences. So listen, he's a man, right? But do we think that means it's okay to put your hands all over him without consent? Or to put your hands in his waistband or down his pants or touch his dick? Hello? Do we think it's okay to quite literally back him into a corner and touch all over him to the point that he literally cannot tell how many hands are on him and whose are whose? Do we think it's okay to send him into an actual panic attack because of this? Furthermore, do we think it's okay to interrogate him and insist he detail how he'd kidnap a woman despite him repeatedly saying he wouldn't do that and you know that shit is fiction, and then attempt to follow him when he tries to get away? And if that wasn't enough, during the time of this mob, him and another author received notification that an air tag was tracking him, which showed on his person all the way to his hotel room. They molested this guy until he passed out from anxiety, and then they put a f***ing tracker on him in order to stalk him back to his hotel. This poor guy, dressed like a character in one of the romantasy books at this romantasy convention, full of women. That is like throwing roast beef into a pit of wolves. Or in this
Yes.
case, throwing a wolf pit of roast. I remember years ago, there was this thing called cosplay is not consent.
I remember
it was
this.
a campaign to bring attention to the fact that people at conventions would often come up to women dressed in sexy costumes and just grope and grab them without their consent. Yeah, apparently we have to bring that back, because these women did not get the memo. I've been a furry for over a decade and attended a lot of fur cons. Sure, sometimes weird shit happens, but honestly, I can't believe the dark romance crowd is out here acting like this. Like, me and my buddies in our fursuits are more respecting of consent and bodily autonomy. Get your shit together, y'all. When the furries are calling you out for being freaks, you need to reflect. Something has gone horribly wrong. Not only were the men at this book talk convention assaulted, but women were also assaulted by women. Multiple women, including a performer, reported being assaulted there as well. Even an author there said she was groped and dragged away from her friends and said no matter how many times she said no, quote, "My words did nothing." May I remind you, this is a book convention, okay? For books. Literal BDSM clubs are more respectful than this. There needs to be more studies on how this stuff affects women's brains, because clearly some are unable to tell the difference between fantasy and reality. Ivy Lipton, a doctoral candidate in human sexuality, actually wrote about this for EV Magazine. I don't know what a doctoral candidate in human sexuality is, but she's hot, so I trust her. Your brain on orgasms isn't neutral. Dopamine release during climax is a powerful conditioning agent. What you repeatedly fantasize about becomes necessary for arousal. If your erotic imagination centers around abuse, monstrous violence, and submission to non-human entities, your brain is reprogramming itself to crave just that. It's not empowerment, it's neuroplasticity at its darkest.
So, like I kind of said earlier, reacting to this video, this is where I think, as funny and as horrible as this is for female gooners and what they like to read and imagine, this is where I do feel like it does get political, because this is actually why there is the Christians are right when it comes to premarital sex, because when you orgasm, you release, for women at least, oxytocin, and that is the bonding agent that this human sexuality person is talking about. And that's why a lot of girls, and honestly guys too, because guys release a different hormone, I forget what it's called, but it works in a similar way for men. You get really attached to your first love, and usually that's the worst heartbreak, because it's supposed to be the bonding agent, because you're supposed to be paired for life, because that's what gets you so attached to each other for life. And the more bodies that you pile up, the weaker that fucking gets, because you're training your body to realize that, to basically ignore that hormone, to ignore those signals, because you're just going to get broken up with again and heartache. And so just to not care about that stuff. Which is why women having a high body count is actually really bad, especially for women, because they're the ones supposed to be loyal to one man. Men have a similar function, but it's not as strong, doesn't work exactly the same way. It does and it doesn't, so it's actually bad for men to sleep around too, but it's not as devastating, because men can have more than one woman, because they can make more than one woman pregnant. Women can only get pregnant by one man. It's literally a biological function. Like, there is an actual scientific argument against premarital sex. And for 99.9% of women, actually I should make that 99.99999% of women, that's over. It's over. It's completely over for them, because feminism has destroyed society, and a lot of these girls have lost their virginity as their teens in high school, even if they did go to a Catholic school, because it's just a religious argument, don't do it because it's bad. And they're horny, and they want to propagate, because once again, biological tick-tock, and so they do it anyways. So, yes, that is me saying I'm not a virgin. Congratulations. Here's the fun fact, if you weren't aware of that. But I'm not even projecting there. Like, there are no virgins out there, and you probably shouldn't believe a woman when she says she's a virgin, unless she's like a diehard Christian girl, and they just prepare for her to be a freak, because there's a lot of repression going on there. Amalgamyte, exactly. Yeah, they're both degenerate. Neither men and women should sleep around. That's true. That is completely true. So, has always been political. Women in ancient world told their husbands they had sex with a god, and their son is a demigod. Yes. it's one of the many reasons why feminism is a cancer upon society.
Scientists, psychologists, and the general public often state that men are visual and women are emotional. When it comes to sex, men can be turned on instantly by a sexual image despite their mood, and women need to be turned on emotionally to get in the mood. So it stands to reason that porn for men is visual and porn for women is in the mind. I'm not equating porn to smut novels, because one is a video of two people actually having real sex, and the other is, well, just words on paper. I am, however, talking about the effect on the consumer. We know watching porn is bad for the brain. That's been proven and only rejected by gooners who don't want to give it up. But is reading smut bad? You might say, duh, that's the whole point. Okay, fair enough. So let me rephrase, is reading smut harmful? Should we shame people for things that are wrong, immoral, or harmful? In my line of work, I've been told many times that shame has no place in sex. But if I use my brain for 2 seconds, it's clear that line of thinking is nonsense. Incest should be shamed, bestiality should be shamed, pedophilia should be shamed. I'm not equating monster smut with these things, but there are 50 shades of gray, so to speak, along the spectrum of harmful. Conditioning your brain and body to associate pleasure with monsters, slavery, or sexual violence is not healthy. Basically, they're cooked. Like, women are cooked. They are frying their brains with this stuff. It's a pipeline, right? It's like the infamous evil alt-right pipeline. You know, you start watching Shoe0nHead, owning the feminists in 2015, and then in 2025, you're hailing Hitler, right? You know, the alt-right pipeline. And this one's like, you're...
That me, though. That's me, though. Because I started watching Shoe0nHead because of being an anti-SJW. Which I found her through Armor Skeptic being an atheist. I found them, well, I found Armor Skeptic before I found Sargon. But you know, the infamous alt-right pipeline. And now here I'm like, Hitler did nothing wrong.
Reading Morning Glory Milking Farm, and the next thing you know, you're Mrs. Hands, right? Just say no. Just say no to monster porn. But why is monster smut so popular with women in particular? Like, you rarely see the opposite, and when you do, it's just like a girl with cat ears and fangs, or like a 10-foot tall dommy mommy vampire with giant titties.
Safe, edgy, reject this. This is awful. Do not listen to this.
Meanwhile, women are like, I want to the pollution monster from Fern Gully. So people on Reddit asked this very question. Let's see the responses. Why do you guys like monster romances? Asking for a friend. Several reasons. 1, human men are quite often terrible. Romance books with human men are already partly fantasy, but monsters just takes the fantasy bit further. 2, it's sort of human nature to imagine relationships with paranormal beings and creatures. We've been doing it in literature and art for centuries. It's just gotten a lot more graphic now, lol. 3, unique body forms / parts and so many different kinds of dicks. Scary, mean, terrifying creature is sweet to her, kind, takes care of her, protects her, works hard to be gentle, etc.
That right there is the key. So I talked a lot earlier about how it's the woman hitting the wall and they actually want the man to protect her. But that's exactly the key. Because they, like, women, the reason why women are attracted to the bad boy instead of the nice guy is because the bad boy displays masculinity, which is the aggressiveness. It's the anger, the strength. You know, by rebelling against the system, by being, doing drugs, and because that's bad. I don't know, biker gangs. This is like display of, once again, of strength. And leading crowds, and just like there's a bunch of like little things like that. They're dark, they're mysterious, but women want the aggressive bad boy. That is just a troublemaker. But she wants him to just be nice to her and only her. Every woman has this fantasy, and yes, including me, I will be the first one to fully admit that's 100% my desire, because I do understand that I want a masculine man. I want a guy to protect me. I want a man to defend me and the children when we're being attacked by the feds. Like, I want the man to pin me down and do things to me and make me feel weak. Because I want to be submissive and I want to serve him. every woman wants this, okay? Even the crazy feminists, they just are too confused and too indoctrinated to admit them themselves, and so they have to just project this into a monster because the monster is to stay horny for them.
Maximal escapism, minimal association to real-life assholes, the patriarchy, misogyny, and oppression of women, etc., etc. Because the monsters are less dangerous than dating actual men. As a fat woman of color,
Jesus
modern,
Christ.
contemporary, and even fantasy romances are hard to click to because they are almost always about thin white women and just too realistic, and romance in real life is not always attainable for fat women/women of color. In monster alien romance, though, my size doesn't matter, and it's easier to get into that headspace and enjoy it.
Lose
I'm sick of
weight.
the men on Earth and looking for some variety. Non-humans haven't betrayed and hurt me, so they feel like a safe haven, if that makes sense. Plus the unusual dick. Monsters have big, fun-shaped cocks. I love some bizarre peen. Unique genitalia. I don't know what I was expecting, honestly. A lot of women's smut, especially monster smut, is about submission, domination, forced breeding, non-consensual consent. The women are like conquered and taken and overpowered by these monsters. And I think many of these women are reading these books containing monsters and not men because masculinity and dominance in men has been completely demonized in modern society. But the truth is, many women still crave it. You see, the monsters in these stories have those like dominant masculine traits that women like so much, but they're not human men. They have all these traits women desire without the problematic baggage human men bring, without being the men.
I didn't pre-watch this video. I will make that completely clear. It's just common sense. I said this even on the Archcast on Saturday. But it's just true.
Men they hate or have been told to hate. It is the perfect guilt-free slop. But they don't just want a wild dominant man. They want to tame a wild dominant man. Similar to when a man sees an art hoe with a nose ring, you can save her from her daddy issues. You can do it. It definitely won't backfire and ruin your life. Go for it. Go talk to her. With many women, there's this desire for like danger and aggression, but also the desire to tame that danger and aggression. The desire to be that special woman who can melt his heart. You see, my dragon boyfriend could rip me to shreds and kill me instantly, but he won't because he's nice and he loves me. But honestly, at the end of the day, just like the video I made about the anime girl in a wheelchair where men were saying, this is the average male fantasy, and a bunch of women were like, you want to rape a disabled girl? When in reality, it was just a distilled manifestation of the average male fantasy, which is to protect and provide for a sweet woman and save her. This is like basically the flip of that, right? This is just the
Men and women both want the same things. Women want to be protected and provided for. Men want to protect and provide for the woman. Instead, you have women reading monster porn right here. And, men watching anime. Granted, women watch anime too, but
distilled manifestation of the female fantasy. Men are seeing this and they're saying, what do you mean you want to milk a minotaur? When in reality, it's just to have a big, strong protector and provider swoop you up and save you. And like I said in that video, they're basically both the same fantasy. This is a tale as old as time, the princess being saved from the dragon by a knight in shining armor, whether the dragon be a wheelchair or student loans, you know? But in this case, the woman is being f***ed by the dragon, and the knight sits in the corner and watches. Maybe it's not that deep. There are some hungers better starved than fed. And maybe as women, for the sake of society, we have to starve our hunger for minotaur. That's the moral of this video. So what do you guys think? What is your theory? Why is the monster romance genre so popular with women in particular? And who is your weirdest hear me out? Be honest. I don't want to hear no Lola Bunny, okay? You all know mine already. It's not that he's a fish, okay? He has an energy, okay? He has a vibe.
It's his personality.
You know what? Never mind. And I will see you guys again really soon with a new video.
Oh, she does funny bits at the end. Hold on.
I love how the f***ing Bowl Man is a progressive, by the way. He's a feminist. He voted for Hillary. He would have voted for Obama 3 times if he could.
That is true, by the way. That is true. There is a section of this book at the close to the end And I can probably find it relatively quickly for you guys, by the way, because he is a feminist, by the way. Let's see. Is it that? No, it's close to the end. Oh, there's another sex scene. That's another sex scene. Let's see, I wrote down a bunch of pages. I didn't note down what was what, but I remember being close to the end. Where am I at? Here. There is one cute scene in this entire fucking book. And it made me giggle like a goddamn schoolgirl because of how cute it fucking was. Of course, it's in chapter 17, out of the 17 chapters. But there was only one cute scene that was like, oh, this is adorable. But okay, actually technically two, but there's that one in particular. Because, like, when it was actually romantic, and it always was from the bull side, keep in mind that was romantic. Not from the woman, by the way. Every single time that he tried to be romantic with her, she would be, like, swooning over him and then talking about his massive cock in the next sentence. So, she constantly interjected every single romance scene with cock. There's another scene when they're also close to the end where she's trying to figure out if she loves him or not. And she spends the whole paragraph basically repeating his cock over and over again. Oh, he's big and strong, cock. Oh, he's so nice and gentle, cock. Oh, you know, I love how he's so successful in life, cock. Anyway, by the way, he's a feminist. Here we go. Here's the scene on page 208. Do you want me to quit? She asked him later that night, once she was nestled against him in bed. Wait, what? He demanded, his eyebrow furrowing. Why? No, of course not. What kind of grade A shit would I have to be to insist that you quit the job where I met you? Do you want to quit? That's your choice, sweetheart. You know I'll support you, whatever you want to do. It's not terrible working conditions, is it? No, she quickly assured him. No, of course not. I really like it there. Everyone is really nice. I love the other techs, and, you know, the guys who are a little too into it are actually pretty far and few between when you tally up the days. I don't actually want to leave. I just want to make sure you're still okay with it. Yes, male feminist. Red flag. It's just this is peak. This is the best book I've ever read, chat. Absolutely amazing, I swear. She cut the 9-foot-tall bull man. Yeah, because the whole job is sex work, right? She's jacking off other minotaurs, and that's where she met him. And she makes good money there. And he's gonna keep on going there, by the way, so, like, he's kind of cucking her, too, if she quits her job, because the whole point of the book is that, why waste was going down the drain anyway, we can get paid for it. So, in a way, he's doing sex work, too, because he gets to be paid to be jacked off, and so he's gonna keep on going there once a week to get jacked off. It's just a matter of if she is the one that jacks him off, or if it's another girl. It's just the thing is, since she works there and she works a full day shift, she also jacks off other Minotaur men too. So, like, but the cucking goes both ways. Welcome to the peak female fantasy, by the way, and not mine this time. Not mine this time, I swear. I thought he had a career. Oh, he does. He owns a business. I forget what his business is, but they talk about it briefly in the book. But he actually owns his own business. I think selling farm equipment for Minotaurs, actually, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that. But he gets extra money by doing this because they are so horny that they constantly jack off, and so he's going down the shower drain, and so he might as well get paid. It's kind of, think of it like plasma. You know, you might as well donate and get some money off of it too, but something you do on an almost daily basis. So, yeah. Harris will be the werewolf book kick. Yeah, actually, spoilers for the Archcast. There are a bunch of other books within this series called Cambric Creek, describing the life of other girls being taken by other monsters. There is one called Moon-Blooded Breeding Clinic, Cambric Creek number 3. The Moon-Blooded Breeding Clinic offers a unique service. Trigger a heat and breed with a werewolf in a controlled setting right before the full moon. Their success rates are higher than multi-species IVF, cheaper than adoption, and more enjoyable than most trips to the clinic. When Mariah picks a handsome, dark-haired werewolf out of a catalog, it seems as easy as buying a pair of shoes. She doesn't count on liking him. He's funny, he's sexy, and once she takes in his knot, Mariah isn't sure if she'll ever be able to see their relationship as a transaction. When Lowell gets the call that he's been chosen by a clinic patient, all he's looking forward to is scratching a physical itch and possibly unlocking a new medical kink. Catching feelings is not part of the contract, but when he meets the gorgeous little redhead who's picked him, walking away from her after he's fulfilled his end of the contract is harder than he thought. Hard to think of leaving. And it's not the only thing she makes hard. That's the third book in the series, by the way. I look forward to your full review, Amal. I'm not reading it. Well, I shouldn't be reading it. I'm not reading on my own volition, I should say, because now Arch has a fund for the other books in the goddamn series because I fucking hate that Swede. And so if it gets funded, then unfortunately you will probably be reading the next book, which is not that book. It's the Mothman book, which I'm going to hate with a burning passion. So hopefully, whatever, like, I'm not sure if we're going to be reading the full series if it gets funded, or if it's just going to be the next one. I don't know. I don't know, and I don't want to know, because I don't want it getting funded. Here's the cover art for the second book. So he doesn't look as black as he does in the picture on the actual book, because it's in black and white. Right here. Now in the actual cover of the book, he doesn't look as bad. So, still a Mothman. I'm not interested in Mothman, okay? I'm basic. I like werewolves and vampires, okay? I like werewolves and vampires. I ain't that difficult.